Hello everyone and welcome back. Today we will reach back a bit. This story is long, but I will as usual keep it brief and focus on facts. I will leave links for more detailed info in the description. Please like, subscribe and share. At the very least we need that like. Today I'm diving into a chilling chapter of criminal history, featuring one of England's most notorious serial killers, George Haigh, infamously known as the acid bath murderer. Prepare yourselves, because this story is as dark as they come. John Haigh was born in 1909 in Stamford, Lincolnshire, and raised in the village of Outwood, West Riding of Yorkshire. His parents were engineer John Robert Haigh and his wife Emily, née Hudson. Both were members of a conservative Protestant sect. He was an only child. Haigh didn't start out as the monster he would become. At a young age, he developed a great proficiency at the piano, which he learned at home. Haigh later won a scholarship to Queen Elizabeth Grammar School in Wakefield. Then he went on to Wakefield Cathedral, where he became a choir boy. After school, he was apprenticed to a firm of motor engineers. In the year of 1934, Haigh married 23-year-old Beatrice Betty Hamer. The marriage soon disintegrated. That same year, Haigh was jailed for fraud. Betty gave birth to a baby girl while he was in prison. She then placed the baby for adoption and left Haigh. It was during this time that Haigh's family ostracized him from then onwards. But by the mid-20th century, he had descended into a life of crime. One of his scams was selling fraudulent stock shares, purportedly from the estates of his deceased clients, at below-market rates. His scam was uncovered by someone who noticed he had misspelled the name of one of his victims on his fraudulent documents. Haigh received a 4-year prison sentence for fraud. Haigh vowed to never have another victim testify against him ever again. Oh yes, let's speak of his victims. Haigh battered to death and or shot his victims. After murdering his victims, Haigh would use sulphuric acid to dissolve their bodies, believing this gruesome technique would leave no trace and therefore no case against him. Now you might be wondering, how did Haigh come up with such a macabre method? Well, it was inspired by another murderer, Georges Alexandre Sarret, a French criminal who was the last person to be executed in Aix-en-Provence. He was guillotined for double murder in a notorious case that involved his dissolving the bodies of his victims in sulphuric acid. Haigh first experimented on field mice first to perfect his technique, discovering it took just 30 minutes to completely dissolve a body. His victims tragically included William McSwan, who gave Haigh his first job post-prison. Haigh, stating that he became jealous of McSwan, said he lured McSwan into a basement, hit him over the head and put him in a drum of acid. He later told McSwan's parents that their son had gone into hiding in Scotland to avoid being called up for military service. Haigh then began living in the McSwan's house and assisting McSwan's parents. Wow! After the war, they became curious as to why their son had not returned. To put an end to their curiosity, he lured them to his Gloucester Road workshop. There he killed them both with blows to the head and disposed of them. Haigh then stole McSwan's pension checks and sold his parents' properties. Haigh had a terrible gambling problem, and by 1947 he was running short of money. To solve his financial troubles, he found another couple to kill and rob. They were Archibald Henderson and his wife Rose. After feigning interest in a house that they were selling, later after getting acquainted, he lured Archibald to his workshop, shot him in the head with a revolver he had stolen from the Henderson residence earlier. Haigh then lured Rose Henderson to the workshop, claiming that her husband had fallen ill, and he then shot her as well. After disposing of the Hendersons' bodies in oil drums filled with acid, he forged a letter with their signatures and sold all of their possessions for £8,000, except for their car and dog, which he kept. Haigh's next and last victim was Olive Durand Deacon, 69, on a ruse. He invited her down to his workshop on the 18th of February 1949, and once inside, he shot her in the back of the head with the same revolver that he had stolen from the Hendersons, stole her jewellery, and put her into the acid bath. 2 days later, Durand Deacon's friends reported her missing. It's a cold, calculated series of crimes that shock to this day. The law eventually caught up with Haigh. Detectives soon discovered Haigh's record of theft and fraud and searched the workshop. Police found a dry cleaner's receipt for Olive Durand Deacon's coat, and also papers referring to the Hendersons and McSwans. The workshop did not contain a floor drain. He therefore disposed of the remains by pouring out the containers on a rubble pile at the back of the property. Investigation of the area by the pathologist revealed 28 pounds of human body fat, part of a human foot, human gallstones and part of a denture, which was later identified by Olive Durand Deacon's dentist. Despite his belief that a murder conviction required a body, he was found guilty in mere minutes by the jury. Justice was swift. Haigh then confessed that he had killed 3 other people, a young man called Max, a girl from Eastbourne, and a woman from Hammersmith. These claims could not be substantiated. On August 10, 1949, Haigh met his end at the gallows, executed by the famous Albert Pierrepoint. This sinister saga of John Haigh isn't just a gruesome tale from the past. It's a stark reminder of the depths of human depravity and the lengths some will go for greed. Thanks for joining me today, and remember, amidst the darkness of true crime, to stay safe and keep seeking the truth. Like, subscribe, share and comment if you know of other crimes that need illuminating. Please share.